you need both. You can't take somebody who doesn't actually know what they're doing and expect them to be able to partner with an advanced artificial intelligence and produce something meaningful or worthwhile. So it's not that you take the human creativity out of the equation, it's just that they suddenly have this incredibly powerful tool that enables them to become more productive and do things they would never have thought of. Because, like you said, AI is very good at suggesting things that you wouldn't have thought of, right? Because it's got this trove of information that we don't have access to so easily.
Wait, what were your prompts for that? I'm so...
My one?
Yeah, for that painting.
My lion.
Yeah, what were...
The danger... See, I was talking with Karuna, the real artist, about this, and she said the problem is she actually likes it. And she thought it was cute, and I said, I honestly don't remember. I might be able to find it somewhere.
Know what's going on in the center here, like what?
I don't know. I don't remember what my problem was. But the reason I don't remember is because I didn't think it was worth remembering, because I'm not particularly impressed by the result. Okay, what kind of skills and character traits? So now I'm going to go beyond skills. Because remember earlier on, of course, I said, well, there's something like conflict resolution. This is more than just a skill. This means you can't fake conflict resolution. You've got to really care. You've got to be the person who really wants this. And because you've got to give stuff up. You can't resolve conflict without being ready to give things up, right? Because there's got to be a middle meeting point. So and that's just one example. But what kind of character traits and skills do you want to develop in the future? That's what I want to get us thinking about. But first I'm going to give you some giant clues, all right? Make this real easy for you. Now I'm a meditation-obsessed person, and what I've seen in the last 20 years particularly, or 15 really, since I've been in technology land, is an extraordinary amount of research revealing all these side effects from meditation practice. So these are not really the main reason for doing meditation initially when it was developed thousands of years ago, but there are all these beneficial side effects. So it's like the opposite of this bottle of antidepressants, where it says, take this if you like, but you may have kidney failure, or you may have suicidal thoughts, and there's a long list, and it's teeny tiny, they're hoping you can't read it, and that's the side effects of that kind of medicine. This is the opposite. It's beneficial side effects, and there's some really cool ones. Developing intuition, and many of these are supported by research. Virtually all of these. Intuition's hard to measure, but definitely focus, mental clarity, absolutely. Creativity, there's some really cool research coming out of Holland about this. A really causal relationship between meditation and creativity. Emotional intelligence, that was the big selling point for the meditation program inside Google. What's it called? Anyone know? Search inside yourself. Clever, no? That was very successful. It's been spun off as a non-profit independent now, but that was very popular. But the main thing that got the Googlers interested was all the engineers, when they weren't getting buy-in, to this internal program. And then one of them thought, well, why don't we frame it as a way to develop emotional intelligence, because it does that. And suddenly all the engineers, yeah, I need that, because they have enough self-awareness to know that, I know some of your engineers, but, most of my engineer friends tell me, yeah, this is something that many people trained in this type of thinking have trouble with. Empathy, definitely big measurable outcome. Confidence, positive attitude, that's again really well established. Self-awareness, well, that's kind of what meditation does. And resilience, and this is a very important one. If we want to remain mentally stable and reasonably mentally healthy and happy, we need to develop more resilience in the face of stress. Because the stress levels that we're experiencing, I don't think they're going away in a hurry. They've been increasing gradually. There's increasing uncertainty for 50 reasons. And the extraordinary advance of technology is feeding that. It's feeding economic inequalities. It's feeding uncertainty about your future profession. It's feeding uncertainty about your value as a human being, because it seems like, what's the use of me if the AI can run the show, and all kind of other things, right? So massive, continuous increase in stress. We need to develop more resilience so that we can tolerate that and not be overwhelmed by it. And Yuval Harari's talking about this. So he, you know who he was, right? The editor, the author of *Sapiens*. So very famous book. I think he's, I kind of like him, but he's a bit of a robot, and I think, I said I like him first, okay? But I think he's really good at the past. He's a historian. I'm not so convinced about his insights into the future. But he meditates about 2 hours a day every morning. And he does a practice called Vipassana. It's a Buddhist meditation. It's a kind of Theravada Buddhist practice. But he says, look, this helps give me the resilience I need to tolerate the stress I go through, because he experiences it as well. He says, but he says he doesn't think this is a good solution for everybody, because most people can't do that. 2 hours a day every morning. So he doesn't know. He basically says, I don't know how to solve this problem. I'm me now. I'm not Yuval Harari talking. I do. And I'll tell you the solution in a little while, if you're very patient, all right? Now we're going to make groups of 4. We're going to get one group of 4, second group of 4. We're going to make 2 groups of 4.5. Okay. Do you guys want to come over here? And one of you can be here, and we'll make 2 groups of 4. Both come here, please. Because we need 5. Okay, make a little, well, you can sit, don't move the chairs, just look at each other, all right? 2 questions. We'll start with this one. In turn, and you've got to be quick, what top 3 skills or personal qualities do you want to develop? What's really important to you? Okay? And then you've got to agree on 3. And you have 5 minutes. Go.
3 top skills, personal qualities. I like to improve hair quality. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really do. That's why I do that.
You have to say 3
Of self or
no,
others?
I don't. I mean,
No, we can throw it
Yeah,
out.
Gratitude. Remind ourselves of gratitude all the time. It's easy for me to
Creativity.
forget, I think.
I would say compassion. Yeah. Compassion.
Especially when I'm doing
Doing a bike shop.
Forgiveness.
I don't know.
Resolve others.
More like age resistance.
Yes.
Listen.
Okay, so intuitive listening.
Globally, I do.
Yeah, it says
I feel like
or like deep listening. Like it says simple.
I don't know if it's a skill or quality. I would say generosity. Like looking past stuff that is in your face and like, okay, well, human beings do that.
You can join one of the groups.
Give them a little space. I don't know.
Biological engineer.
I like the intuition purely, like listening. Just increases scope, I like it. Finding that intuition.
I will also be
Opening on intuition is next to you guys.
Yeah.
So you can develop whatever you do.
3 minutes.
Oh, so now we have to do them three?
Yeah. Letting go. Yeah, so, do you have one?
I don't know what you said, but for me it would be creativity. Resilience.
Resilience. Man, to pick only 3, huh?
Maybe choose. I can read a couple of other ones. There's intuition, emotional intelligence.
Which one did, what did you say?
Also compassion, creativity, self-awareness.
Compassion?
I don't think it has to be.
Yeah.
Compassion is really tough. Right? We think we're compassionate, but
Oh,
then
no.
Maybe generosity, empathy, and like ways of like good
I agree on
or
that.
what do you want to do? Pushing that off.
Yeah, it's probably, they're like, right, like, if
Yeah.
they're like, generosity.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
first,
yeah.
okay.
That also dovetails with what you were talking about, the letting
Slash
go.
that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Similar.
Like,
We're not supposed to intuition.
Yeah, I was trying to see if there's other.
That could be.
If you want to be resilient, you kind of have to.
Intuition.
Generosity also, otherwise it drags you down.
We're trying to sneak in more than three, but we find
Yeah.
relative.
No, that's why
My
I'm willing to.
acceptance, I'll accept premium
Yeah.
under that umbrella.
It's somewhere there.
They're all important.
Resilience
I
is
think
good. I
it
like
changes as you get
passion.
older. Qualities that you want to have are very different.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say
It's not to be
creativity, because
successful,
it's
but
not
it's
only about,
leaving your
the way that I
legacy,
do
how to be
creativity, is it's not
Yeah.
only about creating
Yeah,
art, it's
making
also
sure you do the
problem
right
solving,
thing.
it's
It's
how
beyond the
you're-
IQ,
Yeah,
creativity,
it's-
right?
Right.
The skill side of the skills versus personal qualities.
Yeah, creatively you solve problems.
Showing up in the world,
Reframing
innovation,
things.
framing
Yeah, and I went to
things,
run
it's
around.
artistic expression too,
Created in the
it
40s.
encompasses a lot.
Supposed to be conflict
I wonder if
resolution.
creativity
nations.
actually encompasses
Doesn't
everything.
work.
I like,
Look at that.
creative side has been a
Came
very
in under
healing
time.
side.
That's a long discussion.
Creativity.
I think that's an
Compassion.
Not non-important.
Creativity.
CRC.
No, I think it's a great point.
Look at that, you already created an acronym and it was
That's
on.
right. Be creative.
That's a great point. Like, what are we teaching kids these days?
Yeah,
It's
that's good.
RCC for like rock. We rock.
1 minute.
Maybe one more.
Yes.
Yeah.
1 minute, we'll give our minute away. That's how good we are.
Maybe resilience.
That's true.
You run out, and we're gonna, you're surrendering your minute?
Yes, we can surrender our minute.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, 3 things?
Efficiency wasn't.
You got
on
3
there,
that you
right?
kind of agree on?
It's a
or-
given.
Yeah.
Tell us.
First one is intuition.
Sorry?
Intuition.
Intuition, okay.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts afterwards as well. You mentioned it a few times. The second one is like empathy, which does encompass like listening and generosity, but just empathy as a whole.
Awesome.
And then what was the third one? Resilience. Resilience was the third.
Cool. Thanks, that's very interesting. Ed?
What do we do? Sorry.
We picked resilience as well, and compassion, which I guess is kind of related to empathy, and
Yep.
then creativity is
Okay.
the other. Just in the most general, all-encompassing sense of the word creativity, not just as Rebecca Radha was saying, not just in the form of art or anything, but creative approach to life and problems and attitudes and so on. So, creativity, compassion, and resilience.
Cool. So resilience, intuition, and empathy. That's neat. This is actually really useful for me because I'm really interested to know what people value. So, I have a confession to make. I killed 4 of my babies this morning, and it still wasn't enough. By babies, slides. So this is condensed from a 6-week course, and we condensed and condensed and condensed and condensed. And my designer and I have been working on this for the last 3 days, and it's way too long, so I'm going to skip a bunch of stuff. All right? And you'll get to see the pretty pictures, but I'm getting to what's really important. Okay, it's all about the research, there's tons of that. That's about how old meditation is, more than 7,000 years. This is Tim Ferriss. He interviews hundreds of high achievers, and they, like 80% of them meditate. It's like one of their secrets, which is shocking. Oh, this one's fun, okay. So these are some of the Indian industry leaders who meditate and talk about it and promote it really widely. Oh, by the way, of course, tallest building in the city, Salesforce, they've got their big Dreamforce going on right now, which I think is one of the reasons there are more people in this room, actually. So Mark Benioff, when they designed the building, he stipulated they had to have a meditation room on every floor, because he really values this for his people, Salesforce. So isn't that cool? I got stories about every one of them, but you're not going to hear them tonight. you get the 6-week version. Okay, this is about adoption in companies of meditation programs. It's really widespread now, especially in high, you can say, yeah, companies that employ people who really need to use their minds at a very sort of peak level, at optimum level, because they sort of understand the need for that. Now we're going to meditate together in a minute. Question: how many thoughts did you think yesterday?
3 trillion.
Of course, this is very hard to quantify. I know it's a kind of sort of silly question, but I'd say the correct answer is a lot. I think that's fair. Okay, so then we've got. See, it is possible to get consensus. So, what percentage? This is a really important question. What percentage of those? You know, there are people who try and count this. I don't know how they do it. They come up with numbers like 10,000, 20,000. It's a big number. What percentage of them, of those thoughts, was valuable? And here I want a number from at least some of you.
How do you define valuable?
Wild guess.
How do you define valuable?
This is entirely up to you. Let's put it this way. Of all those thoughts you thought yesterday, which ones do you think were a good use of the time that you spent dwelling upon that thing?
70%.
100%?
No, 70.
70?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got all different definitions of value. I've never heard 70 before. So I know you and I have a very high opinion of you, but this is extraordinary. Okay.
Good. I like that.
You're gonna say 5 to 10.
I know. It's good.
This is more normal.
Shocked at this public.
We're all using different measures. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. But any other numbers?
0.1.
0.1. You see, you've got the whole across the spectrum.
I'm a silly
You should
man.
talk to me a little
I'm a
bit
silly
more.
man. I know that it's efficiency in my thinking. Say if you're efficient in your thinking, you can be silly pretty much most of the day.
So you are the ultimate outlier in this one. I've never heard about. I've never heard about 10% before, and I've asked this of dozens, maybe hundreds of groups. So most people, with the one exception on earth that I'm aware of, are of the opinion that most of their thoughts are unnecessary or basically junk thoughts. So one of the things that meditation does that really, really makes a difference is it reduces the volume. And the way that they measured this in this experiment, at least, this was done at Harvard actually, so I guess it must be important. Before and after picture of somebody who was practicing meditation. They were a beginner. It was only 10 minutes of meditation. So this is not your 2 hours hardcore super brain person. This is an ordinary person. And this coloring, of course, your brain isn't actually that color. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But if you cut your brain open, you will find a mess. This is a colorization, and it's measuring heat, which reflects increased blood flow. So when the blood flow is a lot, it's more red, and it's not exactly an art of suppression, but it's an interpretation. So after 10 minutes, the whole brain had cooled down, and it means fewer thoughts, less noise, less activity, peace at last. So what this can do is reduce the stress, because thinking too much, a lot of people can't sleep because they can't stop thinking. Very common problem. Probably the most popular reason why people use the Calm meditation app. It's the most popular app in the world, the meditation app in the world, and they've discovered that the sleep thing is actually the main issue that they're addressing. So sleeplessness is largely because of inability to control thinking, anxiety, worry, can't stop. Or maybe something you like thinking about, but you can't stop. So the volume of thoughts reduces, and one of the outcomes, of course, is, if people meditate regularly, usually sleep problems go away almost immediately. It's a very, very quick thing. Blood pressure problems go away almost immediately. This is all very measurable and consistent. Something that makes meditation easier, and this is where something the great Yuval Harari doesn't know about, as far as I can tell, and that is chanting. Using music and mantra chanting before going into meditation, because that engages emotion. Meditation isn't just about thinking or not thinking or thinking less. It's about how you feel. And if you can create the right mood for meditation, you can go into meditation much more easily, and the results come much more quickly. And this is what my other buddy in Australia, Dr. Gemma Perry, her PhD was in chanting.
Wow.
And I managed to find her after years. I've been searching for some good research on chanting for ages. There's hardly any. There's tons on meditation, but almost nothing on chanting because it looks too weird and too religious and all that, so nobody wants to touch it. She's dedicated her career so far to this, and this is one of the big outcomes that research shows that mantra chanting makes meditation easier, especially for beginners. This seems to me like a huge deal if millions of people are wanting to learn meditation. Many of them give up because it seems too hard. This makes it easier. So we're going to do a little bit of this in a moment, and we're going to chant a Sanskrit mantra, and I'll tell you what that is in a second. But first I've got to prepare you for what to expect. I know some of you meditate already, but let's forget about that for a minute. Okay. Some of you have been meditating since you're born. Not looking at anybody. So this is what's supposed to happen. It's very simple. You start off, right? You just I'll play some music, and you'll sit straight. You close your eyes. You listen to the mantra and the music. You observe your thoughts. This is important. You're taking the perspective of the observer, so you're sort of standing back from what's happening inside your mind. And then, the music fades and the mantra continues in your mind. You repeat it silently. You focus on the source of love within yourself. That's to do with the meaning of the mantra. And you feel, something soothing, relaxing, something like this, right? Now, this is what actually happens in a real human brain. Okay, sit straight and close your eyes. My brain hurts. At least I'm not thinking about work. Darn. Oh no, that stupid deadline. How come deadline sounds like dead lion? I really love lions. I love lions. You saw my picture. Oh yeah, the mantra's about love. Thanks, lions. Oh, mantra. Okay, I need this mantra right now. Okay, I need the mantra right now. Bhavanam Kevalam, that's the mantra. Feeling the love. Okay, that wasn't so hard. I feel kind of peaceful. Now, the reason I do this little game is not only because I love lions, but because I want you to understand that you don't have to be perfect at this in order for it to work. Like that beginner in Harvard, they sat there and their mind was probably wandering all over the place half the time. That's normal, 90% of the time. It still works. It's kind of weird, but it does. So don't worry about it. If your mind wanders, don't worry about it. If you notice that, just bring it back to the mantra, and it'll wander again, and you bring it back to the mantra, and that is flexing that concentration muscle, which gets better over time. But even when you first start doing it, you'll be surprised at how quickly you feel the effect. Okay, we're going to try this. Where's my friend? Here we go. I give my guitars names. This one is called Asha. And what does that mean?
It's hope.
Hope, exactly. And this is just to give you a little Sanskrit lesson. Asha means hope in Sanskrit, but it's the sound, it's the feeling associated with one of the petals in the lotus flower that represents the heart. So in the heart chakra, you've got this, in this sort of pictures of yogis and that, you'll see all these petals, and one is called the Asha Vritti. So this is the feeling that's generated from the heart. And I'm going to sit in this special magic purple chair that was flown in from the monk dude's planet by Kellogg very kindly, and because I want to sit down while I'm meditating. Isn't that remarkable? So, let's do what the picture said. Sit straight, close your eyes, feet flat on the floor. Please might feel more comfortable with your shoes off. Thank you. And I don't need my glasses. So just close your eyes, sit straight. Now breathe. Well, we'll come to the breathing later, because now I want you, if you feel like it, you can sing. we're going to sing this mantra, which is Baba Nam Kevala, and it means only the feeling of limitless love. So we're connecting to the source of love within ourselves. Sing the mantra for a little while, it's really going to be short, just a few minutes, and then we'll meditate. I'll guide you into the meditation. Baba Nam Kevala, 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 Baba Nam Keep your eyes closed. Remember to sit straight and breathe through your nose if you can comfortably. Let the mantra Baba Nam Kevalam continue in your mind with the music. Feel that you're observing it, so you're listening to the voice of your memory playing this back like a recording. And if your attention wanders at any point, don't worry, that's perfectly natural. But if you notice that, just bring your attention back to the mantra and the music. And then feel that this music and the mantra is leading you inward. It's bringing your attention inward to the source of love within yourself. The place where you feel love. And as you come there, you find that this feeling seems to have no limits. You can't find the boundary. It's within you, fills your whole mind, your entire sphere of awareness, stretching off to an infinite distance. And just focus on the mantra and this feeling of limitless love. And we'll just meditate on this in silence for a few minutes. Keep your eyes closed for a minute. And I want you to take note of how you feel now. Maybe you feel a little different than you did before the meditation. Maybe not, but just notice how you feel now. And if you can think of one word that might describe that, keep that in mind, and we'll share that in a moment. Okay, now you can just take a deep breath. Breathe out and relax. And you can open your eyes. So, how did that feel? Anyone got a word?
Relaxing.
Nice and loud.
Relaxing.
Relaxing, great. And you know, you might have, some people fall asleep, so you might have felt anything. There's no Just, I just want to know.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia, interesting. Yeah, of course, you think of love and then that gets associations. That's natural.
Joy.
Sorry, calm. Hence the name of the app. It's a great name. Brilliant branding. Sorry?
Joy.
Joy. Lovely.
Tranquility.
Sorry?
Tranquility.
Tranquility. That's what we're looking for. Thank you. I'm so glad. Anything else?
Peace.
Sorry?
Peace.
Peace, yeah.
Complete.
Nice. So I do this a lot, and I get a lot of people saying these things. Nostalgia is a new one. Thank you. It's a very interesting. There's an exercise I do where I actually use that to help people to connect to the feeling of love, because a lot of people find that difficult, but it's a kind of a longer exercise. So yeah, for sure. Okay, we have very little time, so I'm going to jump into sort of what comes next. No, first I want to ask you something else related to this. So we meditated in silence for all of 3 minutes, and we chanted for about 3 minutes. This was very short. Of course, it's in a group, so there's this kind of group energy. It's different usually than meditating on your own, but still, if you can feel that in 6 minutes, how do you think you might feel if you did this every day for 10 minutes? Maybe twice, in the morning and evening, or 20 minutes, for a month every day, or for a year, or for 40 years. One of my favorite bits of research, it sounds very unromantic, doesn't it, research, but I have a favorite bit, and it shows how human beings have this thing they call this default level of happiness. You might have heard of that, that something happens in your life, you make a new friend and you feel good, and then they're just your friend. It's like normal. You go back to where you were. And then if something bad happens, you have somebody operates on you, and it's not much fun, right? Then after a while, you're back to where you were, and we have this default level, and we reach this at adulthood. And this is across the world. This is across all cultures. This is human psychology. It's one of the few things all of the psychologists agree on, except that it's wrong. There's one thing that they've found can increase your baseline or your default level of happiness over time. And no prizes for guessing what that is, given who's telling you this, right? So meditative practices. So that can mean even something like Tai Chi. So it's deliberately training your mind to focus and be really calm. But when it's focused inward, which is a bit different than Tai Chi, I would say an inwardly focused meditation, this consistently raises the default level of happiness of the practitioner. That's why I'm particularly excited when someone says, well, I felt joy, because that's really what it's about. It begins firstly with, okay, I feel peace, what a relief, right? Because the mind is slowed down. But as you develop the practice, it becomes more than that. It becomes something that makes you feel like, oh my God, I've come alive again. I'm remembering what it felt like to feel spontaneous joy. It's assuming you had a happy childhood, or reasonably happy when I was young, or at some other time in my life. So it's it's a lot. It's something really, really big, because how we feel is kind of the most important thing. In the end, all the other things we do is to make us feel something. This is a direct route to feeling happiness and joy and peace and love and all the things that we want to feel, that we think having a Tesla is going to make me feel, or whatever it is. I happen to believe that, but anyway. Yeah, that's. I think this is big. And if people are happier and more at peace, I think we'll treat one another better, and we won't take out all our angst and trauma on other people and think it's their fault. This just by itself can help to reduce the tendency towards conflict and so many things that cause pain and unhappiness. I don't think it's the only solution. I think we need to do a lot more than just meditate, but it really enables all sorts of other behavioral improvements, and this is a tremendous knock-on effect. So I think it's really important. And I will quote John Cleese, you know, famous comedian, Monty Python, Fawlty Towers and all that. He says something along there. I saw him in an interview and he said he meditates every day, twice a day. He's a good boy. And he says, if everybody in the world meditated 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night, I think the world would be a very different place. So I'm not going to argue with, in my opinion, the greatest comedian in the world. So just about there, and we have all of no seconds. And I'm going to just show you a slide that's sort of way down the track somewhere. Oh, a couple of things. If you want to practice this at home, download the Bliss Timer. It's got it's a, what do you call it? Freemium thingy that one of my wonderful students built with great amount of work. And in his spare time, he works for Snapchat. In his real time, he helps me. And he made this. So try that. This is my book. Everybody should read my book. Then 1,000 Things About Intuitional Science you're not going to hear because we're going through this really fast, and you'll hear all about what Dilbert thinks about intuition. And oh look, this is pretty. And all the different 8 limbs of yoga that plug into the different levels of the mind and make this whole system of. Is that all of them? There's one more. Wait, now take your photo. And then I was going to sing a song, which you'll hear next, another time. But I time things better, and it's got all these nice lyrics. A picture of John Lennon. Okay. Oh, this is lovely. So high health. To change the future, we must be able to imagine a different future. And these 3 questions I want you to walk away with and really reflect on. Who are you? Who do you want to become? This is what makes us different as humans. We can decide if we want to evolve as an individual into the kind of person we want to be. And there's a way to do it. There are techniques that have been developed over the centuries to help us do that. And what kind of a world do you want? Because we get to decide. That's the stuff I do for companies. This is the commercial break. If you want me to do something for your company or help your friend with a company or something like that, or it can be any kind of organization, educational organizations, etc. I would love to do that. These are the different programs I have. You can find them on my website at that link. You will get an email from either me or Chanda or both with this links and stuff like that. So if you want to know more, you can look there. And that's about it. Any questions? Anything you'd like to say? I would like to say something. I want to say thank you firstly to Kellogg and Chanda for working so hard on this. Thanks very much. And we've known each other for quite a while. This is the 4th event I've done for Kellogg. Yeah, thanks. And also to my wonderful friends who are filming this. This is going to be, we'll make a nice video out of this. And to my wonderful designer, Karuna, and to all the incredible teachers I've had in my life. And thank all of you for coming. Yeah. Questions are welcome, or we can hang around and just chat for a little while. And that's about it, yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
There's still food and coffee and
snacks.
stuff. Just for Kellogg folks, we have, hi, nice to see you. Hi. So we have a Kellogg Cares volunteer event coming up in October. You'll get the details. So hopefully some of you will show up. It's a great event. And a couple of more events coming up in December and October. And if you guys want to organize events, have ideas and need somebody to help you organize, we can do that for you. So reach out to me or.
There are a lot of my team needs more volunteers.
We do need more volunteers. With what happened with the tech companies this year, we have a lot of young folks on the board, but they're all busy with